All right, Casey, today, and actually for quite a while, I've been flying a red-tailed hawk for the first time in a while. And when I pull that big girl out, everybody's eyeing the gear up. And first and foremost, they see those sexy little squirrel chaps that she's wearing.
Where'd those come from?
They came from mountainstateFalconrySupply.com. And you know the best part about it? I'm in North Carolina. I ordered from Heather on, let's say, Saturday. I think they were here like Monday or Tuesday. It was like incredible. Being able to get something quickly on the East Coast is important to me because I don't know about you. I am like super scatterbrained about my falconry supplies. And it's like I decide I need something, but really I needed it a week ago. So yeah, it's good just to have Heather here on the East Coast. So I highly encourage people to check her out at mountainstatefalconrysupply.com. All right, Casey.
Yeah, what's up?
Let's talk tight, okay?
I love talking tight. Let's do it.
You're using it. Harrison's using it. I'm using it. Everybody's using it. Everybody who's anyone's using it. When we want the best, we go for the tightest. And who's doing the tightest?
Richard Moats at midnightfalconry.com.
That's right.
Aaron, we're supposed to be doing a podcast right now. What are you reading?
Oh, sorry, dude. I'm just enamored by this book I'm checking out by Bob Glass.
I can see the beautiful pictures from here. That's all I care about.
I know you're a picture guy, but there's a lot of really good words in here too.
I don't like the words.
Well, I do, but it's A Journey with Red Tails by author Bob Glass. Are you familiar with him, Casey?
Yeah, I grew up with Bob since I got into falconry. Before I was even in falconry, I met Bob. The guy has been flying everything for a tremendous amount of time, has a lot of experience, especially with red tails. And he decided, screw it, I'm going to write a book. And it's a really good book, excellent quality. He put his heart and soul into the thing. I got one right here behind me. It's excellent. Go check him out at ajourneywithredtails.com.
So today, Casey, after my red tail jackhammered a squirrel out of the tree in front of 20 people, we also put the Goshawk up. And this Goshawk is just wowing everybody with its acrobatics, just spiraling around trees after squirrels, flying to and fro through the treetops with ease. And I think you know where this bird came from.
I'm sure I would. The only place that a bird should come from. NorthMountainGoshawks.com for your next hunting partner. Visit him on Facebook and his website and fill out the questionnaire and tell him the Sporting Chance sent you. Winner of the most viewed episode of the year, Sean O'Neill, episode 22. Sean has a tremendous amount of experience with sighthounds, terriers, and pretty much any dog in between. His episode covered everything from acting in the Ninja Turtles movies to chasing down coyotes with his dogs. Sean has come on board and would like to offer the opportunity to our listeners to purchase dogs that he breeds himself. They'll chase anything from hares to bears. Go check him out at Clover Creek Canines on Facebook.
All right, welcome everyone to the Sporting Chance podcast. I'm Aaron Kincaid.
And I'm Casey Everett.
And today we are joined by Maryland falconer Greg Passwaters. Thanks for coming on, Greg.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome to the show.
So where are you from in Maryland?
Upper Eastern Shore, Cecil County, right at the Kent-Cecil County line down by Galena, like the drawbridge down there. If anyone, Casey, you were right there by Cecilton one time there at one of the nursery there. So right around there.
That's Rabbit Mecca from what I've seen. It's insane.
Now it's kind of a dead zone. They cleaned it up. I mean, we don't like cleaning things up. We want it, in shambles,
Well,
but it's.
What do you mean by cleaning things up?
They took away the brush piles and stuff like that. So it's just kind of like wide open now. And
at that nursery?
You got to go. Yeah. It's like just maybe not. It's probably shin high grass out there, no piles at all. So there's nothing out there. You got to get in like around the woods. and it's terrible with ravines. It's 20-foot drop off down there. It's a mess. It's no fun.
I mean, when the brush piles were there, I've never seen anything like that though. I mean, that was like in like when I think back of like some of my favorite hunts or like cool hunts, that was easily top 5. Like
I didn't have noodles then.
Yeah.
If I had noodles then, I would have been in high cotton there. That would have been nice. That would have been nice.
So just
picking brush then.
Yeah, describe it. Greg, describe that spot for the listeners.
Oh God, it was just like it was a nursery, and they just did it. I mean, of course, they didn't do it for us. They just how they did it. They were pruning the trees and stuff, and just making small piles, all on that probably 50 acres there, and then all in between the piles, that there was shin high grass and some spots higher, and I mean, those rabbits were just, and then it's fenced, keeping the foxes out and the deer out. So there, I don't think the predators really had too much effect on them. And down here on the eastern shore of Maryland, I mean, I've never seen foxes like the population of red foxes are just out of control. There's no trappers no more. And the young generation, they can't afford the gas to do it. And I don't know if they just don't want to do it or, but you can't make any money doing it, so you're kind of just these trappers that do go out and do it. They're pretty much just doing it like we do falcon. They're just doing it for fun, and a hobby. They're not making anything.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a freaking lot of work, man. I know that it's a lot of work being a trapper, but I have I have a trapper that traps my property, and it's like, you don't really think about it, right? When you're like, oh, I'm going to put out a couple sets, and in New York, you have to check it every single 24 hours. So like every morning, I was like, yeah, trap my property. And I was like, I'll check the sets for you and everything. And they're like out of sight. So I kind of have to walk out into my property and go find them. And I'm like, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, whatever. I'll just check them every day. But like when I got to go to work and he texts me, he's like, how are we looking in the traps? And I got to run out there. Look, we got one coon or whatever, and then it's just like, but it's every single day you have to check. So it's so much work. And like, unless you're driving like a Prius, it doesn't make any sense. You're just burning gas.
It takes so long to make a dirt hole set, and then it rains, and then it ruins it. You got to remake it. The deer can't stay. Around here we have a lot of deer, so then the deer smell the fox urine or the bait you put in it. They got to go investigate. If they step in the trap, of course they're not going to get trapped in it. They just pull their foot right out of it. But it's just nonstop. I mean, you should always be doing some type of management on your properties. But I mean, I just can't even keep up with it. I mean, it's just terrible. It's exhaustingly terrible. It's just terrible.
Yeah.
I think the most efficient way to deal with predators is thermal.
I was just going to say that, Aaron. I was just going to say that. Just go out at night, like couple times a month, and just put some calls and just shoot as many as you possibly can, and just try to put a dent in it. Even though
to get that kind of equipment, you better have $10,000 or more. It's just trapping's, in my opinion, is the most effective way to get them. But like I said, you just better have a lot of time on your hands to be able to do it. And I don't know what the state's going to do. I mean, because it's already, they need to loosen up the trapping laws. I think to get a depredation permit for the, what do they call it? The nuisance permits. You got to take a class or something. Just do away with that. Do away with the fees. Make trapping year round. I mean, because you got to get ahead of this. I mean, I haven't heard of wild bobwhite quail in 20 years.
Right. Yeah.
When's the last time you saw a truckload of pointers, in the bed of a truck going upland game hunting around here? When I was a kid.
Was there a time? I was just going to ask, was there a time when you would see that kind of stuff?
Yeah. Well, I grew up in Delaware, and I mean, over, Route 9, east of Route 9, we had pheasants and quail everywhere. When I was a kid, they were bobwhite quail, around Newcastle area, Smyrna. Down to there, you could go out and, listen and hear them. I mean, I haven't heard one in 20 years.
Yeah.
And it sure ain't hunting. It's not hunters doing it.
Right. Yeah.
It's predation. I got a 4-year degree in wildlife management. And they taught us back then in the 90s that predation is the number one taker of all this wildlife. I mean, feral cats. I mean, look how many songbirds they kill. What is it, like 40 million or something? Some crazy number.
No, I'm up to date on all this because I hate cats. It's I believe the number is 3.4 billion songbirds a year, and another estimated 1.6 billion small mammals.
Yeah, they say that they're the number one killer of the small mammals.
Yeah, it's completely out of control. And God forbid you put a hole in one.
And when I was a kid, you sat in a deer stand, you didn't see a fox ever. If you saw one, when you got back to the truck, you told your dad or your buddy, you were like, man, I saw a fox. I mean, you were excited about seeing a red fox, and you saw him right at the edge of dark. Now, I mean, I drive down the road and I mean, they're in the field broad daylight, they're just everywhere.
It's out of control.
We don't have that many down here. They're definitely here, but it's not like that.
Why do you think that is?
Coyotes, maybe? Do you guys have as many coyotes, Greg?
No, we don't have many coyotes. So
we've got a ton of coyotes here. So that's my understanding is when you have a lot of coyotes, you won't have many foxes.
Yeah, they take them. But I don't know what this state's going to do. And like I said, I got a 4-year degree in wildlife management. That's what I was going to be doing, but I took a little yield turn off of that, and what I do. But the answer certainly what we're doing is nothing. That certainly ain't the answer to the problem we have down here. And and when I got into falconry, that was the biggest surprise that I had was when I was a kid. We didn't have even our state grounds around here have the habitat. They're leaving crops, they're putting in edges and standing cover. And my biggest surprise was because I haven't, kicked brush or rabbit hunted since I was in my 20s, and I'm 52. And one of my biggest surprises was I was hunting these places and kicking bushes, and nobody was home.
Right.
There's nobody home.
Yeah. It's a huge problem for everybody. I mean, it's just like like we talked about in a previous episode where it's like some spots are loaded, some spots are like the cover is perfect, everything looks perfect, and then you beat the place to death with dogs and manually, and you don't flush a single thing the whole time you're there. It's like what? And then you see a big pile of coyote shit, or a fox den nearby, or a feral cat colony, and you're like, come on, man.
Some of my places, when we push a hedgerow, I jump more fox out of the hedgerow than I do rabbits.
You got to get yourself a nice.
Too much shit on me to carry my rifle. I got a nice 17. It's dialed in, but I got I got 2 Harris Hawks and a 10-year-old. I got too much shit going on to be pumping around a rifle on top of all that.
Yeah, you just need a nice lurcher in the field with you for that kind of a situation. Well, you got Harrison nearby.
Yeah. I'll take him out there with Judge.
Yeah. Go ahead,
So
Aaron.
is that a detriment to have Harrison nearby?
I can't keep up with him.
I would personally hate to have him nearby.
No, I don't want him within 100 miles of where I hawk.
I can't keep up with his long legs. He leaves me in the dust. He just goes, I'll meet you at the truck later,
Yeah, it's the young. He's got the young man's vigor. He moves a little too quick through the field. I've been telling him. I'm like, you gotta slow down. You gotta let the dogs work. You gotta drink in the moments. Like,
stop, check out the moss.
Teddy Moore, she hollers at me about that. I'm on Noodles and BB all the time. I'm here, find him in there. I'm steady talking to the dogs, and Miss Teddy's always just let the team hunt. Just you're just a bystander. You let the team hunt, and I just can't help but talk shit the whole time. I'm out there. Got to talk the shit.
I'm the same way. I don't know how to get out of my own way. I just keep. I get I'm telling them to get in here, then they go in there, they start working a track. Then I'm walking, I'm getting impatient, I'm yelling at them to come and check here. And I know better, and I still do the same thing. I'm like, just friggin', I'm always in a rush. Just let them go, let them work.
Yep.
So Greg, when did you get into falconry?
I got into it in 2019. Started with a red tail like most people, and still have him. I got too attached to him. I had a terrible sponsor who, I mean, I knew he was terrible when I got him. I just needed a signature, I guess, but he was horrible. So no one, said, hey, you need to release this bird. And so he's still out in the pen, and he's like my buddy, I mean, I don't even have to have a glove on with him. He's a great bird, I mean, you can have him around kids. I mean, but he's a mouser. That's all he is. I mean, if I ever done it again, I would go out Kansas or somewhere and get a bird. And, even Western Maryland Ridge Trap one, the bird, I just around here, I just feel like they're not seeing cottontail, so they're not killing them. So, squirrels one thing, but, I like to hunt the rabbits, and, he's a mouser, and you'll take him out squirrel hawking, and he'll miss 20 before he catches one. But I still got him, and he's a good bird.
So sentimental.
That's pretty cool.
You keep him around, sentimental value you keep him around for?
Yeah. I just think he's so stupid. He'll probably be the first hawk hit by a car, within a week. He'll be diving for a mouse on the side of the road and get waffled. So, and I mean, he's flew away on me, 2 or 3 times. One time I called him in as he got away, and like 6 days later, he come flying through the yard into his mew, and I had to call the DNR lady back and tell her, I got to put him back on my license because he came back.
Yeah.
I mean, he's my buddy now, so I guess he'll outlive me probably. And
yeah, that's fine. Yeah. A lot of people are guilty of that, getting attached to him.
Yeah, and I'd love to have a big female red-tailed squirrel hawk with, but I'm stuck with him.
That's hilarious. So you got in 2019, you said, and started with the red tail. What, like, typical BS questions, right? What, like, what prompted you to do that? Like, where'd that come from?
My oldest son, we raised waterfowl for a decade, all kind of North American waterfowl. And he said one year, I mean, this is going back 15 years ago. He said, Dad, let's do falconry. And I said, I'm not doing that. It's too much bullshit. And then,
you were right.
I said, it's too much bullshit. And 2019, I just, he's older now, and he's 25 now. And, you guys all see Ethan in my videos and my pictures. He's my 10-year-old that goes with me, and got rid of the waterfowl. They were a pain in the ass. And I said, I'm going to go do this falconry test. And that's what I did. But I had a rough start at it. I mean, I didn't have a good sponsor, but I mean, today you got, I ran into some people that were like, oh, ask your sponsor. When I went on social media, asking people, some questions, and, I just flat out said, well, he's not worth asking, so kind of learned a lot by myself.
Greg, come on. Can you allow, like, we don't have to drop the guy's name, but like, what do you like? It sounds like the guy was a real piece of work. So what's?
Yeah, he just, a lot of kids, that took a lot of his time, but he just, he just didn't kill anything. I mean, it's kind of he had a pet parrot, I mean, but, right. So I didn't learn anything, from him, but, but reaching out to other people today's, I'm 52. Like I said, I didn't have any of this social media, and I mean, there is a lot of good people out there that will help you. And I mean, I owe Teddy Moritz everything. I mean, I have a bad ankle that's nothing but bone on bone, no cartilage. I'm fat, I'm 52, smoke. I'm out there kicking brush, and falling down. My ankle's twisting, and I did 2 years of that, and I was up, I was debating on, do I want, I had other people saying, oh, you want a beagle, go on YouTube and type in rabbit hunting, look what fucking dog they got. It's a beagle. It's a rabbit. That's what you do. And I got hooked up with Miss Teddy, and I called her and we talked on the phone, and I pretty much was begging. If I was in person, I would have been on my hands and knees begging for a dog. And she hooked me up with Noodles, the brown Dachshund I have, and I mean the first season I went from, I bet I jumped, in the 2 years prior I might have jumped 15, 20 rabbits, but you jump them once, you don't ever find them again.
Yeah.
And I got Noodles in her first season. I probably put up a couple hundred.
Jeez.
And I mean, it was in this year. I mean, she finds rabbits where you don't even think a rabbit is. I mean, you take these Dachshunds out, man. And I mean, this, female mine, what's yours? She's related to mine, right? Ann or something.
Mine, Ginger.
Ginger. She's
from Teddy.
Noodles.
Yeah.
She's Noodles' aunt, right?
I believe so. She was a granddaughter to Simon. Sire was Zach Bond's dog, Thorn, and I don't remember the bitch that he was bred to. I can't remember the bitch, but
Jay? No.
It sounds familiar, but they all sound familiar if they're coming from Teddy.
She's either her second aunt or something. Miss Teddy told me one time, but yeah, now and then I got the black female. Like you have a black. She's a female too, right?
Yeah. I only run the bitches. Only bitches.
Correct. I don't need a dog pissing on everything. That's all.
No. Nope.
I'm sitting there.
Yeah.
But man, it's just like I said. I don't get in the brush no more. I'm not doing that. The only time I get in the brush is to get the rabbit from the hawk. That's it.
Right. Yeah. That's the way it should be. And with your ankle, I mean, it's just the perfect scenario.
Yeah. I can't get down in there, and I'm tripping over everything. I don't have any mobility in my ankle, so it's like I kind of walk stiff footed. You know what I mean? My ankle don't flex, so I'm just tripping in holes. And no, it was just terrible. I mean, like I said, I probably my biggest thank you to Teddy. I mean, she changed everything for me doing this.
I'd say she changed it for a lot of people, and I know a lot of people that are not into the Dachshunds and stuff, maybe listening, and they kind of view us as like a cult, or kind of like people that just like the dogs for the dogs. And we're kind of like, you know what I mean? Like I don't know how to put this, Aaron. Like you get this vibe online, right? Where it's like everybody worships Teddy Moritz. Everybody, you run into the Dachshund crew, and it's like,
I mean, there's a reason why 1 million of us have got Dachshunds on the East Coast.
Well, yeah, but like if you tell them that, they don't want to hear it. You know what I mean? And I'm kind of the same way with like the Cocker crowd, because there's like a Cocker crew that's like obsessed with Cocker Spaniels.
They've got cock in their name.
Yeah,
I mean, what more do you need to hear?
And it's like
And down here on this eastern shore, I mean, these farms for deer hunting ain't like when I was a kid. I mean, when you went deer hunting, you paid $500 for a farm. You hunted the whole goddamn farm. You can duck hunt, squirrel hunt. You hunt the whole farm for $500. Now these farms on here on the eastern shore, some are $20,000, $30,000. You go rolling up there, door knocking to get permission, and you got a beagle.
Nope.
No. There's nobody, there's no farm on this eastern shore. You can sit there and tell them till you're blue in the face that my beagle don't run deer. My beagle don't run deer. They don't want a howling ass beagle anywhere on their farm that's going to run that big buck off there. That these people are paying $20,000, $30,000. Now you pull out that little Dachshund, people don't even, they're like, yeah, you're good to go.
Yeah, they're super unassuming, and like, especially some of the spots, like, so where I live now, I don't have to really worry about it, but I bring my birds and dogs to work with me, and I hawk like my old spots when I used to live in the, tight urban area in North Jersey. And like, it's hilarious because you'll see because everybody's so nosy, right? Greg, you know this. So they slow their car down to see what you're doing. And then you kind of stand there for a second and you look like a sketchy person. And then sometimes I'll call the dog, like, run past me. So like, as soon as they see the little dog, then they go, oh, it's just a guy with his little dog, and they just keep driving.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they don't even notice. But like in all seriousness, like the Dachshunds really, I mean, they're really phenomenal rabbit dogs. Like I think the Beagle, traditional gun hunting, the Beagle probably gets it done in terms of like staying on a track, the better nose, a little more speed.
They're faster. They're faster. They're covering some ground.
Pushing the rabbit in a circle back to you so you can shoot it.
Yeah.
Like I think the Beagle, as in terms of a traditional standpoint, like the ultimate rabbit dog, I think the Beagle is probably going to take the cake on that. But in terms of what we're doing, like where these rabbits are going to ground, they're going to brush piles, sheds, tight cover. You don't even, like you said, Greg, like you don't even know where the hell it went to reflush it. The dog's going to work it out. The dog's got enough nose to trail, and it's got the size to pop it back out. So I mean, it's just like
if I was out in Kansas or Nebraska or something, Beagles cover more ground, like you said, circle the rabbit back. But if I turned Beagles loose down here, they'd be on the next farm. I'd be having people pissed off at me, and that Dachshund, I can, even with my bad wheel, I can keep up with them. They're not leaving me in the dust, But that's probably who I owe the most to, and and I do a lot of hunting with Ken Salvier. He kind of keeps me grounded. I get real rammy and anxious, and he's like, just slow down, and enjoy it. And I'm out throwing temper tantrums, threatening to bring a shotgun next time, and if
yeah, that's me.
Like, I'll kill these rabbits if I got a goddamn
gun. I've been known to have a temper tantrum or two. I think our co-host here has seen me have one or two. It's very embarrassing, and I always like am so embarrassed of myself. But yeah, I have a temper problem too, Greg. So I'm with you there. Now another stupid question that just seems so obvious. What prompted you to get a Dachshund? Like, was it just seeing this stuff online, or did you go with somebody? And by the way, hold on, Greg. Before you answer the question, I just want to clarify that we didn't plan having this conversation. You brought it up, so if you brought it up, we're going to go with it. But we didn't bring you on to have this Dachshund conversation. You're bringing it up on your own. Yeah. So what happened with that? Like,
I saw a video on a guy. I work 12 hours and I try not to do too much work. And I was just surfing some falconry videos, and there was a guy, and if you said his name, I'd probably remember it. He was up in Canada, and he has a Dachshund.
Steve. I don't think what his last name is.
Chingren? No, I'm just kidding.
He has a red tail. It ain't the guy Radke or what's the other guy's
Radford,
yeah, not him. There was another guy, and I saw, and I reached out to him.
Steve Dixon.
Huh?
Steve Dixon.
Nah.
we got more. Listen, Aaron, by the way, Nathan Highland messaged me, a previous guest of the show. He messaged me. He's going down in March to pick up a puppy from Teddy.
Oh,
yeah.
Smart man.
I'm going to try to meet up with him and do a little hawking.
There was a guy in Canada, and I watched a couple of his videos, and he had a Dachshund, and I messaged him, and I was like, I started talking to him on Messenger and stuff like that, and I was thinking he found this dog out in like Midwest somewhere, and he's like, no, he's like a lady Teddy Moritz in Delaware, and I'm like, shit, I'm right here 30 minutes from her, right? And that's where I was watching his videos and stuff like that, and I was almost getting ready to pull the trigger on just doing Beagles. And I just, when the Dachshund came in, I said, well, they're short-legged. I got a bad leg, I'm old, I'm fat. Like I said, I smoke like a chimney when I'm out there, and it just made the most sense going with the Dachshund, and doing hedgerows. I love, I do a lot of hedgerow hunting and stuff like that. And a Beagle, you would go down a hedgerow, you'd be done in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I just wanted I wanted a dog that would hunt slower and, like you said, go in a hole, or spend 15 minutes or 20 minutes in a brush pile.
Yeah, because the beagle will go through it in 10 minutes, but how many rabbits did that beagle blow by? Because it's tucked in a hole.
Brush pile, all of them. Exactly. And around here where I'm at, I mean, you saw down at the nursery, those brush piles are where the rabbits are because the fox, has more trouble getting in there and getting them, and stuff. So it's got to be thick or a fox is going to eat them.
Yeah. So you watched his videos, you pulled the trigger, you got a dog from Teddy. Did you have birds that you were flying currently? And then what was it like getting the dog entered with the birds?
Yeah, my first Harris Hawk, which I sold to Ken Sabier, she wouldn't lay off the noodles. She was 2 years old, Harris Hawk, great big giant bird, a killer, just a straight killer. Louis Rodriguez bird, huge feet, just probably the biggest Harris Hawk and I've seen a few. I haven't seen as many as you guys, but she was just a giant, and she just wanted.
What do you think she weighed?
I can't even remember. I deal with so many weights every damn day.
I know.
She was huge, and I mean, she would kill Jesus Christ. I mean, she was just a badass bird, and she still is. She's not a friendly bird. She got me by the chin once, by the hand 2 or 3 times. I mean, she was just I said Louis Rodriguez up in New York. He bred her, and she was. I know
Louis.
She was an incredible bird, but she doesn't want to be your friend. I mean, there's no love. It was let's go hunting and don't touch me. So then I went I bought my son his, it's my bird, but I got it for my son, a male Harris Hawk from Philip Wood in Georgia. And I mean, just a phenomenal breeder he is. I mean, I don't know what he does with his birds, but I turned around this year and bought another male from him. And I mean, just instantly, to the glove, to anything you wanted to do. I mean, the birds are just, I mean, he just has a great, great set of birds down there breeding them. And I mean, so much that the one last year, my son's bird just fooled me. And half the year, I mean, I had him hunting probably 30 grams overweight. He was missing. And finally, I think one day it was like 10 rabbits he missed. And I yelled at my 10-year-old. I'm like, put him on the glove, walk to the fucking truck, and don't fucking stop till you get there. And I just left, and I said, that's it. I dropped him like 20 more grams or 30 grams down to 607, 608. And it was just boom, boom, boom. Last 3 weeks of rabbit season, he killed 17.
Nice.
And he just had me fooled that he just did everything. Come as soon as you'd raise the glove, just follow to everything. And he just fooled me.
Harris Hawks will do that.
He fooled me. But these two are hunting together now. And like I said, Philip Wood, he has some great, great birds down there.
It's because
that's what you're flying right now. 2 Tiercel Harris Hawks.
Yes.
On rabbits. That's cool. I always thought that was an interesting way to take rabbits. Everybody wants the big females, but I mean, a Tiercel Harris Hawk can handle a rabbit, no problem.
Yeah, they're a lot faster. They do a little more, they're a little more acrobatic. I mean, they're scares the shit out of me when they get on the squirrels. Biting them. My young bird, he took 3 bites. We killed 2 rabbits and a squirrel the other day, and thank God none of them were serious. They were just little scrapes. But the squirrel was just on him. I mean, but I try to steer clear of them. But we were in a hedgerow, and it was just loaded with squirrels.
Yeah, I love them squirrels. Greg, so now your other son was the one that kind of put the seed in your mind about falconry. Does he come hawking with you, or your other son? Was it your other son?
Yeah.
How many kids do you have?
2. I got Chase, who's my 25-year-old, and Ethan's my 10-year-old. The 25-year-old's too busy chasing other things, you know.
Yeah. He's in the rut. He's rutting
He's got
right
any
now.
time for daddy no more, you know.
Yeah.
He'll come to his senses one day.
I want to get into I got to get a Goshawk, but like I was talking to Seth, I mean, your buddy Seth up there with the Gosses, and me and him traded pictures back and forth, and you know, and I told him, I said, you know, my 10-year-old and we have a lot of fun when we just had his bird. We would go, you know, fly his bird, go back to the truck, get the red tail out, try for squirrels, and I wanted to get 2 Harris Hawks flying so me and my son can have a little competition between the birds, you know, ball buck on each other a little bit. And you know, Seth he was right there with me. He was like, I got you, man. And he's sending me pictures of his kids, his daughter with a deer and a turkey. And he said, you know, you're on her. And I said, that's what I have to do first. And then I'm going to get a Goshawk, you know, then when I'm off during the week and Ethan's at school, I'll go with the boys, you know, and we'll bust out the missiles, you know, and then, you know, on the weekends when he's off, I'm going to go take it easy and, you know, have a carefree hunt. And the Harris Hawks, you know, you can throw them in the Mew and 2 weeks later, they're still going to do the same thing. You know, they just know what the deal is, you know?
Yeah.
So you want some more stress in your life? Is that what you're telling us?
Yeah. Well, I want to be able. I have a lot of duck spots. You know, late season duck spots, and you know, I want to be able to have a bird that's going to catch them on a flush. You know, coming up on impoundments. You know, and
I think a chamber raised tiercel finish from Seth will be right up your alley.
I wouldn't start with a tiercel.
You wouldn't?
No.
Chamber raised tiercel?
No.
Casey knows more about Goshawks than I do.
Tiercels are they're just a pain in the ass in the beginning, especially during dispersal phase. They're real skittish and we're
talking chamber raised, bro. We ain't talking about no dang imprints.
Yeah, but they still have the same tendencies, and you still have more little behavioral things you gotta. We talk about it all the time. With the females, you're dealing with aggression, basically. And with the tiercels, you're dealing with fear. A little aggression, but you're dealing with fear. So which one do you want to deal with more? The aggression, I feel, personally, maybe my skill level definitely needs to go up. But turning the fear into aggression and pointing it towards game, for me personally, is harder than turning aggression towards you and the situation and the dogs, and just that aggression that the females have towards game is a lot easier. Just my opinion.
Seth, he basically told me, he said, you know, with Ethan, he said, don't do a parent reared. He said, you know, because it could, you know, get used to Ethan, too used to Ethan, and, you know, go for him, you know.
You mean imprint? You mean imprint?
Yeah, he said, that's what I meant. I got him flipped. He said, don't do an imprint because it could go after Ethan, or, you know, and they say a lot, even Harrison said the aggression's always towards the owner, you know, who raised it, you know, so, you know, I want to get one from Seth. Hopefully he has a good discount coming up, you know.
I know about that, but, yeah,
he's expensive as hell.
Yeah. Listen. There's a reason why he's the sponsor of one of the sponsors of the show. He makes phenomenal birds. So if you're looking for a new bird this season, our boy Seth Roy, NorthMountainGoshawks.com. Go hit him up.
Greg, I sent Casey and Harrison a video of me petting my bird tonight, my goshawk, just petting her like a baby while she's eating a squirrel egg
at hunting weight.
Yeah, at hunting weight, and she was just. Didn't care about me whatsoever.
What is she?
She's a Finnish. She's a female chamber raised Finnish.
Gotcha.
So I'm a big fan of chamber raised.
Yeah. I've never flown one, Greg, but just seeing Ian Anderson and Aaron's bird, it's pushed me over the edge. They're like a Harris Hawk that flies twice as fast and 10 times more explosive.
They're more tame than Harris Hawks.
They're actually more tame than Harris Hawks, yeah, because they just like you can literally they catch the rabbit. Greg, they catch the rabbit. I'm assuming your Harris Hawks mantle a little bit on the kill, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They probably look like black and red dinner plates over top of the rabbit.
Yeah. Aaron's bird catches a rabbit, immediately tucks its wings in, sits calmly and starts plucking. You can walk right up. You can stroke it completely down its chest, down its keel, reach in, dispatch the rabbit, and then you can scratch it on its neck while it's plucking. It's insane.
No
They're
way.
all like that. They're all like that. It's insane. It's bizarre.
Well,
I've never seen it. I fly imprints. So when I went out with these guys and I see this stuff, I'm like, my mind is like blown. I'm like, how is this even possible? They don't have that defensive. When you get them, especially from a breeder like Seth, who really specializes in the chamber bird. Okay, so I don't know how to say this without sounding rude, but if you get a chamber bird from somebody that is not Seth or Lance Christensen, it's kind of like a roll of the dice, in my personal opinion. I know that Jeff Kissack is a phenomenal breeder, and he does a pretty good job with chamber birds. But besides those three guys, you don't really know what you're getting. They have a whole formula of the way they put these birds together. They move them from one chamber to the next. They monitor their behavior. If the female's more aggressive and battering the tiercels, they'll move the female out into another chamber with other aggressive females. And they keep doing the process. And then when you get the bird, it's just like when you say blank slate, it's literally a blank slate. And as long as you're delicate and gentle and you man it down nicely, it becomes like this. It becomes literally a parrot that, like Ian Anderson's bird, is like hopping from one person's head to another person's head to kill the rabbit. And then anybody can make in and touch it. It's crazy. So
yeah, it's what so when I was talking to Seth, I mean, he was like, you have to go with and I trust him. He said, especially with it, he said, I definitely would not have an imprint around my kids. And he was, like I said, we were relating back and forth with the kids, and I told him as soon as I'm done, the first priority was being able to go with my son and the two birds, and I'm gonna upgrade, so next year I'll probably be on his list.
Yeah, I got a great story. So I took my son hawking early season when it's nice and warm and casual, and we're
How old's he?
5, just turned 5.
Wow.
Yeah. So he came with me. He loves to beat the brush and hang out with the dogs and stuff. And my wife doesn't listen to our show, so it doesn't matter. It's our little secret. And the female chases a rabbit, misses, it goes to cover. Dogs are working it, goes and lands in a tree. We're working it for a while. Took us a minute to find where it went. But within that 10 minutes, she got a little annoyed that we didn't move anything. And this is probably a reflection on me and my, my skill, which is fine. And she comes out of the tree like this and goes right over my head like that. And she didn't bind to my son, but she smacked him in the back, like square in his back. And he fell over. He fell over. And then she jumped up and like did that little, everybody who's flying an imprint knows they do that little crazy little pterodactyl, velociraptor run right towards my feet. And then I picked her up and I put her away in the truck, and then we called it a day after that. And then she didn't eat until later that night. But yeah, with imprints, I've heard stories of, grabbing kids, while you're training it goes after the kids and stuff. Like, they don't know when you're raising an imprint, they view you as either a parent, a sibling, or some sort of a threat or possibly competition. So depending on the way you raise them, and if you do a good job, it could come out very badly or very good, or you can work through it. My North American, not to talk about myself, but my North American, I hand fed her, so she views me as a parent, has zero aggression towards me, but she hates my dogs. She loves the dogs when they're in the field, but if they walk under my feet while she's on the glove, she's baiting at them to tag them every single time, like clockwork, like nonstop. When I pull her out of the truck and the dogs are milling around and we're getting ready to hit the field, she's just baiting at them, baiting. And I was warned about that, to keep the dogs away from the bird if you're hand feeding, because they'll associate the dogs as siblings
and competition. So when the dogs are in the field and she's in the trees following or on the glove, everything's fine. But if they would come within 10 feet of us, she's baiting at them every single time to like get them away. But yes,
So yeah, it's all mental. It's all a mental thing with the imprints. Not that I know everything. I clearly don't, but it's all mental. So I would definitely go a chamber fin, a nice big fin from Seth. That's what I would do. So get on his list now.
Definitely going to be on his list, and for next year, like I said, everything's working out real well with these birds. So me and my son, we're getting ready to leave for Nebraska, December 27th ish. Me and Ken Sabe are going to take a road trip out there, and my 10-year-old son's going with us. He wants to go with the guys, and
awesome.
Mommy's not happy. Mommy's pretty pissed off that
he's gonna be missing school.
2 days after Christmas, I'm taking her baby boy, and we're going out, on a man trip out hawking, and she's going to be home. But it's the only time he can go. I mean, he's off school, and it's the only time we can go.
Yeah, man.
That's good, man. You guys need to do that.
Yeah. He wants to do a road trip with the guys and just go out there, and we're going to see what happens.
Yeah, Ken does a lot of traveling, right? He's always out. He's always out west flying and hunting.
He's got a van, and he's got it going on. He's got, when he comes home, he's got a van that's strictly for falconry. It's got the hawk boxes in it. It's got everything you need. Running water. He's got, the dog boxes. It's just set up perfectly, and he keeps all of his stuff in there. And he's got, the battery chargers, and when he comes home, he just gets in the van and he puts his dog and his bird in there and he goes. And, and whereas, I got shit all over the dash of my truck. I got a haul and everything, and, the GoPro charger. And, he does have a nice setup it just takes so much worry off going out there. You can leave the birds right in the van, the dogs in the van. If you get a hotel, I mean, you're not in a bed of a pickup on your hands and knees with a cab on the back. I mean, you can stand fully up in it. It's real tall van, four-wheel drive. I mean, it's the shit. I mean, it's nice.
Yeah.
Are you riding in his van out there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nice. Is it one of those like van life things that people will live in on the road?
Yeah.
With beds and all that in it?
He just got a new van, and he had the one last year. Kind of looked like some military. We looked like we were going to abduct somebody, and but this one's a lot nicer, and we look like we're not like some SWAT team getting ready to bail out of it, and but
you look like some hipsters about to go for a hike somewhere.
Yeah, we look like we're just normal people out for bird watching or something. But it's set up. It's to be it's nice to be able to have that to come home to. You just jump right in it. He's got everything in it, and you just go, and whereas like I said, I gotta find all my shit, where'd I put this, where'd I put that. Left the other day without my GoPro, that good hunt, missed all the action on the GoPro because I left it sitting in here because the batteries were charging. He's got, like I said, I can't even describe everything he has in it. It's just set up for falconry. That's
if you can do that, that's the way to go.
Yeah, I can't afford a van and a truck and now I can't afford all that. But I say you don't have to get a top of the line one. But I'm telling you, man, it is nice. It is so nice to be able to just go out there and take those road trips in that van.
Oh yeah. So Greg, I have a question about because you're known, around the water cooler that you have the best spots on the East Coast. How do you go about getting these spots?
And I door knock a lot. I'm not afraid. I got a gift of gab, and I go up there, and I reached out another way. I'm trying now is these hunting clubs where these guys they get 20 or 30 goose hunters together. They rent into farms. They got 20s and 30s and thousands of dollars worth of farms, that they lease, 15 farms or something. And I just started doing this. I'm just going to these, the guys that start these clubs, and I say, hey, I want to join your club, but I don't want to shoot a fucking goose. I don't, I want to go do falconry. And, the goose season's short now. So, all the farms have a hedgerow. There's a hedgerow everywhere, property lines, and I tell them, I say, look, I want to rent in on your club. And they're like, they're cool with that. I'm like, this is extra money. This isn't, this is a Christmas bonus. Here's this money for something that you're not going to do. It's after goose season. They rent these places, from year to year. And so I just, one guy just got permission from handed me 12 farms, so.
Wow.
Yeah. And now every one of them don't have rabbits on them, but I mean, I just hit one of the places the other day, and I killed the one the other day, and I think I jumped 4. So, but yeah, I mean, I go all the way down to, I got to keep a camper in Cape Charles. My dad lives in Cape Charles, so he's been door knocking for me too. And
nice.
I keep my camper at Cherrystone, so I'm going to start going down to Eastern Shore, Virginia. There was just rabbits every fucking. I mean, they were just, I pulled up to the bank there where you turn off of 13 and you would make a right to go to Cape Charles. There's a bank there on the left, and there had to have been 12 or 15 rabbits just in the yard of the bank.
Was this at night?
I guess it's the salt down there, the sand. I don't know, but I mean, it was filthy with rabbits down there.
Dude, something about the Northeast, the coastal parts of the Northeast, there's just rabbits everywhere.
Yeah.
Coastal is, I don't know why, coastal is loaded. It's so weird.
Yeah. It might be that way here too, but the coast down here is like thick as a jungle, like literally.
There's all kind of boat yards down there, and just, from old boats and shit growing all up around them. And, I just started going in there, and hey, my dad lives in Cape Charles. Like I said, when your dad is a local, you can throw that out there. They don't think you're some crazy ass, but I haven't even went down there. I got probably 5 or 6 spots in there, and I haven't even went down there to and like I said, I keep my camper right at Cherrystone Campground. So I just called down, say, hey, put my camper on this lot, and they put it on there, and I go down. When I'm ready to leave, I lock it up and I leave, and they put it back in storage. So I'm gonna start doing,
nice.
It's 3.5 hour drive. That's not horrible.
No, that's not bad. That's about as far
I go
as
out the lot, dude. I mean, I sit and I look on that Onyx, and I see something that looks rabbity, or and I just pull in and knock on doors, man. Hopefully I got another one tonight. I called the guy, and he's like, oh man, I'd love to go. And I said, well, look, I won't go until you get me the permission. It's his wife's mother, and he's going to have his wife call her. And I mean, it just looks, there's got to be a fuckload of them in there. And he loves he's interested in falconry. I said, look, I won't go until you can, and then once I get my foot in the door, I'm going to have it.
Yeah. That's good. I mean, Greg, that's phenomenal.
Yeah.
I don't do enough of that myself.
I don't do any of that.
I know, you trespass like a motherfucker.
Bro, if there's no sign, it's fair game as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, it's like, yes, it looks like, hold on, I'll show you. It's, I put a pin drop on them all. Let me back it way out here.
You use Onyx for all your scouting?
Yeah. Yeah, that's all mine.
Yeah. A lot of pins there.
A lot of pins on that thing.
I want to get it to where I have a different spot every day.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
Nice. How many days a week do you hunt, Greg?
Nah, I'm getting ready to retire in April, so it's going to beef up a lot more. But, I try to go 1 or 2 days, definitely one. I'm all 4. I work 4 on, 4 off. So weather permitting, I get out. I try to get out twice.
That's good.
Twice a week. I need to beef, but like I'm in here in Maryland, we got a ridiculous goddamn deer season. It's 2 weeks a rifle, Then it closes and you get 2 weeks of muzzleloader. So it's a fucking month of gun hunting, and half of those spots, 80% of those spots, I can't even step foot on until January.
All right, let's talk about that. So how much total do you have?
What?
Deer season. How many months of deer season do you have?
Oh my God. We got a week of muzzleloader in October, then 2 weeks of rifle, which is we're midway through the 2 weeks of rifle, 2 weeks of muzzleloader that carries you through December. And then in January, there's another 3-day rifle. So a lot. I mean, it's like, bow hunting starts beginning of September and runs all the way to the end of January. So, but bow, people aren't really concerned in December if they haven't killed their deer. There's not a whole lot of places still hunting deer in January with a bow. But
about
at least
the way
till January 15th, they don't want me on there, until they get done their last 3 days of rifle in January. The deer hunting is just, there's just
my life gets a lot easier. January 1st, that's the last day of deer season down here.
Yeah. And so, Greg, is that are you because I know in some states you're not allowed to small game hunt during like rifle season. Is that the same way in Maryland? Is that why you're not hitting spots?
No, ours is still open.
Okay, so
I wear an orange hat no matter where I go, but we can still do falconry during the deer season. I don't, our falconry season doesn't close all the way to March 31st.
Okay, yeah, because some states I know, I think I'm not the best with rules, but I know that Jersey, I know that Jersey closes for I believe you're supposed to stay out of the woods for 6 days or 2 weeks or something.
Yeah. No, I think ours stays open.
So your spots are hunting properties for whitetail that you're also hitting. So that's the reason why you're kind of shut down for that 1 month, right?
Yep.
Got it.
None of my spots are in any industrial parks or in any kind of town or nothing like that. My spots are straight out in the country. I mean, every one of them.
Yeah, those are the nicest spots. I always feel like I have way less anxiety and anger.
Yeah.
And, I'm a lot calmer.
Absolutely.
Yeah, nobody's coming up to me and, I don't have to look over my shoulder. I don't have to do any of that.
You got explicit permission to be there.
Sounds so nice.
You don't need to worry about running into anyone.
Yeah. And I just text the people because you're technically in Maryland supposed to have written permission on you, but a text to me is writing. So I text the landowner. I'm like, hey, I'm going to go is it cool if I come back this year doing the falconry? And when they say yes, I just lock the message. And if I ever get checked there, here it is. Here's my permission.
Yeah, you were a cop for a little while, right? Or are you still a cop? Not yet? No
one.
You're still a cop? Yeah. So you know all about the law and covering.
There's too many rules, too many laws these days. I've been doing it 27 years. I'm done. I can't take no more.
Yeah. I'm sure you deal with a lot, man.
It's, I've always said, man, it's, people always come out, or asking me, man, how do you deal with these people? How do you deal? And, it's I expect people to, I don't expect somebody that's a criminal to act like we do. I've never had a problem getting along with the bad guys or the good guys or any of that. I can't stand the rules on, my own kind anymore. I don't fit in anymore. I'm the square peg in a round hole. I don't fit into these body cameras. I don't fit into, the computers and the paperwork and,
yeah.
I just, I'm past my time. I did 27 years all on the road. I've never sat behind a desk. So I'm done.
All on the road, huh?
All on the road.
Dude, that's got to take a toll on you, man. Because because I feel like every young man that has a decent level of testosterone has thought about becoming a police officer.
Yeah.
And it's and when you really sit and think about it, it's all right, you got to pull somebody over in the dark. You don't know who they are. It's sketchy. You're by yourself. You got to walk up to their window. And I'm sure they show you all those videos at the academy of people getting shot and stabbed and, murdered on the side of the highway.
And the bad thing today is our justice system is just it sucks, man. I mean, you see these criminals, they get gun charges, they get PBJs and stat dockets, yet and guys like you are scared to death to go to the dinner and have 2 beers to get a DUI, and it's like it's the justice system anymore. It's just so damn lean. It's so far left that it's the pendulum. Just you can't even bring it. If you started to bring the pendulum back, where you actually held people accountable and responsible for everything today, is an excuse. Of why they are the way they are. And,
They had a bad. Well, Aaron knows about this, right? Bad childhood. Aaron deals with a lot of the behind the scenes stuff with some of these people.
Yeah.
He's a counselor by trade, and he deals with a lot of children, so he understands some of that stuff. But
the kids these days, I mean, it's when I was in elementary school, if the teacher were to say, "Everybody raise your hand who has the same mother and father, the real mother and father living in your house," most of us, probably 95%, would have raised our hands. Today, if you did that, these kids are with single mothers, no father figure around. I mean, more than half the class don't have their biological mother and biological father. You have to, that's one thing, in my opinion, I mean, you have to have a mother and a father. God bless the single mothers. They do what they can, but you can't replace us.
Yeah.
She can do the best she can, but there's no one that's going to replace any of us 3,
Yeah. A mother can't beat like a father can.
I just have to look.
You're much stronger.
Yeah. I just have to, I just give the look and it's done,
Yeah. I watch my poor wife screaming at this kid all day, and then I walk in the door and I just give him a look, and he just goes and cleans up his room. You know what I mean? It's like they need that. Yeah, I agree with you, Greg, on that 100%.
And the drugs. I mean, when I was a kid, and I don't know how old you guys are. Like I said, I'm 52, but when I was
30, I'm 34. I look like I'm 48.
Well, when I was a kid, I mean, and we snuck cigarettes. We hid behind barns in our house, and we hid from everybody and smoked our cigarette. Now, I mean, you got heroin addicts on the zombie walk on Main Street. It's just like there's just no fucking shame anymore. It's like, man, are you serious?
Yeah. Now they got places where you can go and you can safely do your drugs, and the state will monitor you.
Yeah. And another thing, when I was a cop 27 years ago, I mean, our female inmate section in the jail, there was 2 or 3. I mean, sometimes 1, and now it's full, 50, it's like, man, there's just people have no respect for themselves anymore, let alone you or I mean, or any other citizen out there. And I didn't carry, I've been on 27 years, and I think I was on 23 years. I never carried an off-duty handgun. Never carried a gun. And and when I was on my 23rd year, 24th year, I because the crime was so bad, now I carry off duty.
Yeah, but is it even worth it? Because
nowadays, I think if I'm a cop and I didn't carry for 23 years, being a cop, when I could have carried anywhere, didn't have to do no extra bullshit. I could have carried an off duty gun, or the one I carry on, as my service gun, and I didn't carry. But now, I mean, the way crime is, I think it's a must. I think it's to the point that if you have a wife and a kid, you better have one on you.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think it's one of those things where it's that stupid saying.
Better have not need it than need it and not have it.
Correct. Yeah. Greg,
you don't want to be getting drug out of the car in front of your kids and your teeth kicked in or your head stomped in.
No. I have. Anyway, do you have any good stories that you would like to share? Because I feel like every officer's got stories. We didn't plan this, but I just know lifting at the gym with cops. They all got some crazy stories.
Well, I have a good one on a murder. It was my last homicide. It was a few years ago. I'll never forget that one. Had it been a foot of snow, I get a call, that a neighbor found the guy, and I get there, and the neighbor, says, he's inside, blah, 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 and I don't know what to expect. I'm by myself. Backup's probably a half hour away. I know they're going to be even longer because it's a foot of snow. And I enter this house, and Dancing Queen was playing on the radio. I guess the suspects turned up the radio to cover up the screaming and all that stuff, but they wound up. I go into the first thing I come to is the kitchen, and it's just blood. I mean, just everywhere, handprints. Terrible scene. I mean, nightmarish scene. And all I hear is Dancing Queen, young and sweet, only 17. And it's just blaring. And I'm like, fuck. And I go down the hallway, and there's bloody handprints on the hallway. And I come into the living room, and here's the deceased laying there. And he had two dogs, and I'll never forget it. The dogs were sitting on the couch, and the deceased was laying right next to the couch, and both dogs are just looking down at their owner there. And I mean, it was just, and that song, now when I hear that song, I'm like,
Oh my gosh, Greg.
I used to like the song.
Holy,
it's a great song.
Oh, not anymore.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And then I wound up having to hold the scene the rest of the day. I had to sit out in the police car while the detectives were all there. So I called the local pizza shop and ordered a large pizza and a 2-liter bottle of soda, and sat in my car and had the delivery guy deliver it right to my car.
Jesus.
So what happened there? What was the result?
They went to jail. I mean, we did solve it. It was just drugs, drug related. They wound up stabbing him a bunch of times, knocked out the ceiling, hung a rope up there and tied his hands up. I guess, torture kind of thing. And then stabbing him a bunch.
Well,
all right.
Thanks everyone for joining. Jesus, Greg. Man.
Yeah, but that song, I used to love that song. Now, every time me and the wife were at a wedding and it came on, I was like, God damn, change that.
You got to keep a good sense of humor.
Yeah. Most of the time, like I said, there's been so many that, they'll eventually they go away and the memories of them fade. But there's certain ones like that that stick in your head because of that song, or there's something that triggers, you to remember it.
Yeah. Jeez, Greg. Thank you for sharing that. I know it's
I used to work with a lady that was a social worker, and her husband was a mortician. And
smoking embalming fluid and shit.
she was like, we've got some morbid conversations at dinner time.
Yeah, those people
between the two of them.
Dude, those people
I couldn't do that. That's too much. I can't be around that much. I have a bad, I get seeing any of that, man. It just, I can see blood and stuff like that. But when you start cutting, like even a deer, when I got a deer, I'm like the biggest sissy on the planet. I gag and hurl, and rabbit guts, I gag. I mean, it's terrible.
Dude, listen, rabbit guts kind of stink, man.
Oh man, dude, horrible, dude.
Rabbits are probably the grossest thing we catch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're gross, dude.
Yeah, they got worms and stuff. All these all the haters of the squirrels, man. Squirrels are clean. They're clean. Man. They barely smell. They eat little nuts and shit. Like,
I do have a buddy that can cook some rabbits though, and I give him the rabbits, and I tell him, if you cook them, I'll give you half, you keep half. And man, I tell you, man, he can do a rabbit, and he just gave me 3, and I gave him 6 rabbits. He gave me 3, and I mean, they were phenomenal.
Yeah.
Makes them in the oven somehow, put some dry rub on them. I don't know what the hell he does.
No, it's Greg. It's easy, man. You just sear them on all sides and put them in a Dutch oven with some vegetables, man, and some broth. Ooh, they fall off the bone. They're so good.
I give the front half to the birds, the head and the rib cage and the front legs and that back strap and that back loin and the back legs. I keep that for me.
That's for Daddy.
Yeah.
Man. Greg, so now, Aaron, do you have any questions? I have another avenue that I'd like to discuss.
Well, I've got a question, and this may be the direction you want to go, is the state of Maryland. Is this where you want to go, Casey?
I wanted to talk about the club, but go ahead.
Yeah, that's exactly what I want to talk about. So Maryland, you've got what, the Potomac Falconers Association?
Yeah.
And what's the other one?
I don't know. I joined the first year I did it. I joined the Potomac Rivers Falconry Club, whatever it is, and I stopped getting emails to come. So I don't know what happened with that.
The hell?
Yeah, I don't know.
So you're not involved. You're not involved in the club anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's what we kind of wanted to discuss, because there seems to be
about that.
I know a little bit about it. There seems to be some sort of a weird thing where the club doesn't like members, and they
they probably don't like me.
Well, that's not, that's saying a lot in my book, in a good way, towards you. Like, I don't have any problems with them. Like, during COVID, it was an invite only, and I was invited. I got invited. I was Teddy Maritz's guest, so I was invited through Teddy. Went down there. There's rabbits crawling and slithering and scurrying everywhere. Oh. And my Karen bird that people may know was on fire. We caught one. I was content with one, Harrison. Caught one, had a great time. The president hosted it at his home. It was a different kind of a meet, where it was like more of a European style, I would say, where it was you met at the home. People requested what birds that they were interested in seeing. The falconers told what birds they were flying and what quarry they were interested in, and then the club was based off of that. So I was flying a goshawk. I said my bird will take rabbits, ducks, and squirrels. I don't really, I just said I don't really care what we catch. I just, whatever. Mm-hmm. And the meat was divvied up. So okay, so you want to see a goshawk. Okay, so this kid flies a goshawk. So this local falconer is going to take this group of people to this area to chase rabbits with a goshawk. And that's kind of how the hunt went. So it was interesting, and we had a good time. But I've heard that they actually called off their meet a few years ago because of too many RSVPs.
I heard they called off one because some falconers got caught, like in a I guess like slipping in behind a business where they didn't belong, and somebody that saw they were falconers assumed it was another guy, and he got mad. And I mean, I reached out to him and I said, dude, I deal with this shit all the time. People hear of, a cop doing something and they go, oh, Passwaters works. And I'm like, no, it ain't fucking me. And, and don't, and if you got a problem, the people that call me when I'm off duty, and I'm like, if it's that important, call game warden or call the cops, don't bother me. Oh my, I'm not, this ain't a police substation here.
All right.
Christ, right. But I heard that one got canceled for that. I haven't heard the other one or anything. Like I said, I haven't been. I mean, it doesn't bother me not to go.
Okay. Sounds like they're sensitive group.
Yeah, they might be overly sensitive. I'd go to some out like, the NAFA out in Kansas, or I just don't want to go around here. I got places that are better than that.
Greg, I implore you to come to the Jersey meet this year. You'll have a fun time.
Yeah, I got a bunch of properties in South Jersey I turkey hunt, so I should probably reach out to those people and say, hey, you have any, I never look when I'm there for rabbits. I never try to kick anything. I see them, by accident sometimes. But, I got a bunch of properties around Carmel, Bridgeton, stuff like that.
Greg, if you come to the Jersey meet, all you have to do is close the door to your truck and walk a couple steps, and you'll flush some rabbits. Aaron can speak. Aaron, how many hours you drive to come to the Jersey meet now?
I'm just thinking, I'm rolling my eyes because this Jersey meet is going to be ridiculous this year with people there.
That's the point.
Where's it at in New Jersey?
Don't worry, Greg. Don't worry about it. Just I'll tell you off air.
It's not like it's private information.
It's
dude.
not, and it's not. But if we start dropping towns and stuff, then people are going to start and go clear it out because it's loaded. There's a lot of rabbits there, Greg. You'll have a great time.
There were last year.
No, it's not. Harrison.
I heard Harrison's been going up there.
Yeah, Harrison goes there every weekend or every day after work. He said.
Well, he barely works too, so his days off.
That's saying something. So that's why there's no rabbits there. No, Greg, come to the meet. You'll be our guest. You'll fly with me and Aaron. We'll take you out. We'll have a good time. Catch some rabbits. I want to see that dog run.
Oh man, she's we gotta get our two together. I mean, she's, and I haven't seen many Dachshunds run. I think, there's just, I'd been trying to talk my wife into going with Teddy and doing these field trials. Cause at first I was a big stickler on, I don't need a fucking piece of paper to tell me I got a good hunting dog. I got tailgate pictures, when somebody wants to buy, if I ever did breed noodles and somebody wanted to buy a dog, I'm going to hold up some tailgate pictures of some rabbits there,
Yeah.
But now I'm to the point, with Teddy, with this new dog she really put the effort out there and got the dog titles. The what do they call that one? She just got Dapple.
Yep.
Teddy just got that Dapple female, beautiful dog, and she's getting the dog
the
ribbons.
Mom was a dog
titles.
that I produced.
Huh?
The mom of that Dapple was one that I produced.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Aaron makes good dogs too.
She's got Teddy's got. I mean, this dog she's got now. She's smaller than Noodles, and Teddy says, "Man, she goes right down a hole." But she's really. I really wanted my wife to even get my 10-year-old would go with her, and start getting Noodles some ribbons, and because now I'm getting to to the point where I'm like I'm doing her a disservice not letting her earn what she can, and put the title with her, and I don't know. I'm still up in the air about it, but I was against it. I was like, I don't need this piece of paper, this blue ribbon. But now I'm like, the dog deserves it,
Would it be nice though for your wife just to do it? You don't need to worry about it.
Yeah, it's a good hobby. Go.
I would love for my wife and daughter to do that. I would kill for that.
Yeah,
me too.
And I think if because I tease the wife all the time about the new black dog BB that I got off Teddy. I tease her all the time that she don't get her shit together. She's going down DFR, going down the fucking road. And that's this one right here.
Look at that little bit. Look at that girl.
Little puppy.
Yeah,
I love the black and tans, man.
She's a good girl, but and she's she's a lap. She sits on the wife's lap all the night long and gives her kisses. And I tease my wife Jamie all the time. I'm like, yeah, she better start hunting like Noodles, or she's going down the road. And my wife looks right at me. She's like, that dog ain't going nowhere. You'll go before that dog does.
That's great. That's awesome. Yeah, getting the wife involved is a huge plus if you can.
Yeah, I think I messed up on this dog. I raised the San Juans and use them for training purposes. And I was taking the dog, the San Juans out, and I was putting them like in the fields, like with ankle high grass, enough for the rabbit to hide a little bit, but enough that where the dog would get on it, the rabbit could stretch out. They could get in a good chase. The dog would be, gnawing at the rabbit, trying to get excited about chasing it. Well, what I think I did was confuse the dog that the rabbits are out in the fucking grass. We were going hunting. Noodles is in the hedgerow in the thicket. BB's out here in the field. So now it's kind of, I'm trying to reverse it now. And, she keeps looking out in the field. And, I think I messed up there, but I just didn't want to put the rabbits, the San Juans, in the thicket where the dog would immediately go in and be able to get it. I wanted the dog to get excited about chasing it, which she did. But like I said, now she she's looking out in the field, and she gets bored. We don't have rabbits like they do out in Kansas or Nebraska. And, I'm out there, for 2 hours to jump 3 or 4 rabbits. And, I look down and BB's sitting at my feet, but she's catching on. The last 2 hunts, we actually had some rabbits on, like I said, because I can't get to my good places because everybody's out there trying to kill a fucking deer, so, the last couple hunts, we've actually put some rabbits up and BB's starting to get it. So I think by the time when I get back from Nebraska in January, when I'll be able to start hunting my good spots here, I think BB, she'll be full swing.
How old is BB?
She'll be a year this month.
Yeah, she's still young, man. You got to just, I wouldn't worry too much about it. I wouldn't get too stressed out about it.
Noodles was fucking shit up when she was this age. I mean,
I know.
We got to get Noodles and your dog out together one time. I mean, it's going to be a shit show.
Let's go. I'm ready.
Yeah, it's going to be a shit show. They're going to be putting up some rabbits.
You let me know when and where, and we'll make it happen. I'm down. I'm 100% down. You're only like a couple hours from me. It's not bad.
Yeah.
I'll come down by you guys. I don't care. Whatever you want.
So you said you're up in northeastern Maryland, Greg?
Yep. Like dead west from Middletown, Delaware, if you know where that is.
My wife's family's from Laurel, outside of DC.
Yeah, it's way down below me. That's 2 hours below me.
Yeah.
Where are you at?
I'm in North Carolina.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they've got black squirrels in Laurel.
Ooh.
Yeah. Whenever I'm up there at Christmas time, I'm always eyeing them up.
I got to get my ass down there to Virginia, though. Like I said, it was just down there on that eastern shore of Virginia, Chincoteague. I don't know if it's the sand in the soil, but we went to a Dollar General right there by Cape Charles, and I'm just like, there was rabbits in the grass next to the park. I was like, God damn. So I got to get back. I got to go down there. I just ain't going to be able to fit it in here before we leave for Nebraska. So when I get back from there, I'm going to have to make a trip down there. So
what's the draw to Nebraska?
I just got friends out there that have places and stuff like that. That they gave us some spots to try, and there's just a lot of rabbits in that area.
Any jackrabbits where you're going?
No, I don't think so. No.
That's one thing me and Casey both want to do is catch a jackrabbit before it's all over with.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think the male Harris Hawks would do too well at that, but
I think they could do it.
Yeah, they could probably do it.
Yeah, both of them, if they both jump on it.
Yeah.
I think you got it.
You might have to send your 10-year-old to sprint in there.
Yeah, I'm not running nowhere.
Yeah.
I'm not running anywhere.
So how did that work, Greg, with getting your son involved with falconry and all that? Was he always wanted to interested in it, or was it something that you kind of had to ease him into,
Oh, anything I do, he's into it. He wants to hunt everything, he loves the falconry, but he still likes to put that gun in his hands.
Yeah.
He just
you got him a nice buck this year so far, right?
Yeah, that's what I was going to show you. Yeah.
There we go.
Okay, so Greg, that's a kind of a big buck for a 10-year-old, don't you think?
Yeah, but his one last year was bigger.
So you don't think that's going to ruin him?
Yeah.
For the rest of his life now that's going to be his standard that you have set for him?
Yeah, it's going to ruin him. The one he killed last year was going to ruin him, but this one he shot, he was like, oh, I thought it was bigger, and Christ, when I was his age, you shot a little 6-pointer or a spike buck, you were thrilled. I mean, so yeah, if my buddy there gets rid of that property, I'm screwed.
What were the stats on that buck for the listeners?
It was 130 inches. I green scored it 130 inches. He was 200 pounds dressed, probably 250 on the hoof, but he was just a I would have liked him to been in the 140-inch class to kill him. But, we had youth season was a weekend before, and I made Ethan pass up a lot of nice bucks that he wasn't real proud of me over. So that one came out. And I gave him the green light on it. And,
good for him. That's awesome.
He made a hell of a shot. It was 110 yards. He made a hell of a nice shot, kept his composure, but he loves to still go goose hunting, which I can't stand any of that anymore. I could, if I never kill another goose in my life,
why is that?
I just did enough of it. It's, I just don't enjoy it anymore. It's just too much work, and it's just, I don't even like eating them. So I just
putting out the decoys and all that.
Putting
out all the decoys.
Putting out the decoys, and I don't like eating them. So I literally take all the breasts and save them up all winter long, and then I take them to a butcher, and they grind them up and make snack sticks. Well, then they cost a fucking fortune. I think the last time I did it, my bill was almost $400. I'm like,
holy shit.
That sounds so good, though.
Yeah, they're very good.
Yeah, it sounds good.
But it's just too much.
That's a foreign concept to me, shooting geese. Yeah, we don't shoot geese here. We have a season, but
what do you mean? What do you mean we don't shoot geese here? I'm sure there's people that shoot geese.
I don't know a single person. I mean, I know people that duck hunt. We
went on a swan hunt 10 years ago, probably me and my oldest son down there. With Conman's Guide Service. He's out there towards Phelps Lake, North Carolina. Mm-hmm. And they were telling us stories like back in the late 70s, 80s, that was like the goose capital of the world down there. And now, I mean, it's the geese don't even go down. It isn't a lack of geese. I'm a big, I believe in short stopping. There's no reason for these geese now to ever leave New York. I mean, you got them thousand lakes or whatever they call it. Why in the hell would a goose leave? So, down there in North Carolina, I think they were saying you're allowed one a season now or something. What? Yeah.
A Canadian, a Canada goose?
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't ever call them Canadian geese, because you'll get a lot of, you're getting a lot of trouble for calling them a Canadian goose.
Yeah.
I made that mistake one time, and I 50 comments later, I was like, Jesus.
Casey, we ought to do a swan hunt down here.
That'd be fun.
We had a good time.
I'd be curious to see what a swan tastes like.
I imagine
it don't taste very good. Yeah. It's sausage. That's about it.
Yeah. Get them ground up into those beefs, into those sticks. That's how I'll eat them. But I don't know.
They're like huge, massive birds.
Yeah, they just don't stay. Even in Pennsylvania and stuff. When I was a kid, you never saw a goose blind up in Pennsylvania or a goose pit. Now, I mean, every field up there's loaded with geese. And even down here, they just there's no reason for the geese to come this far. Why? They got open water up there. It's just the winters aren't anything anymore.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest believer in global warming, but I really am. I really am.
You're not the biggest believer?
It's just everything changes. I'm more of a kind of nothing stays the same and nothing lasts forever. It's always going to change. We could turn around a full cycle and in our kids' lifetime, it'd be freezing cold again. Just depends on which way the earth is spinning or whatever. It's, I don't know that it's anything man-made that's doing it, because I mean, you hear these volcanoes exploding and putting all the carbon dioxide in the air. And I mean, it's way more than we do. I don't know.
So I'm of the opinion that it's not debatable that the planet's warmed up as a whole. We know that. We've seen it in our short lifetimes. I think you can debate what caused it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's warmer than it used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the Earth is on a warming cycle for sure. I was resistant to it for a while because I'm like,
you just didn't want to believe it wasn't convenient.
Yeah. You know me, Aaron. I was resistant to it. But like when it snowed the other day, we got 6 inches up here, and literally 12 hours later, it was gone. I'm like, you know what? I'm like, all right, enough of this shit. Like, there's global warming because this is ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Well,
like I said,
here for the first time in years a few days ago. And it used to snow multiple times every winter.
Yeah, it's, when I first moved here, I mean, we used to drive the trucks out on the Sassafras River and hunt geese out on the ice, and I mean, I got a pond in my backyard, and I have never been able to step foot on that pond since I dug it 25 years ago.
Yeah. No, something's definitely going on because, whatever. Yeah.
And it could be, as the Earth moves farther from the sun, closer to the sun, even a degree. I mean, it's out of my pay grade, but I don't think is it anything we've done? I don't know that we're putting, that much out there as a volcano explosion.
Volcano explosion? No, 100%. Obviously, there's money to be made on green energy, so obviously they're going to capitalize on the Earth warming to try to make money. That's all it is, 100%.
I think that is.
Yeah, 100%. So I definitely think the Earth is warming, but I don't know if it's like you said, Greg, from anything that we're doing or just because of the Earth warmed and cooled. We know that from geology and anthropology, so we know that.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it has anything to do with us, but people are definitely going to try and make money off of it. So that's just second guess what they're telling you. That's all I'm saying.
The sad thing is you can't believe shit anymore.
Aaron believes all of it. Everything that they say,
I believe it all. Yeah,
Aaron believes it all. That's why this podcast works, because I don't believe anything and Aaron believes everything. That's perfect.
Yeah. I say yes, Papa Joe.
Yeah, right.
Yes, Mommy Kamala.
No, don't say that. I'm gonna have to kill myself. Anyway.
Oh shit.
So Greg, your son is like killing huge bucks, bigger bucks than I killed I think it was a 130 something I killed. Biggest I ever killed in my life. Your son already has me beat. So you got him out hunting, you're finding these great spots, you're killing it. Is there anything like in the future that you want to fly besides your Goshawk is the goal, right? Or no?
Yeah. I'm fine. I definitely, I want to do, I got to get out of this general shit. It takes forever to get out of it. I got to get to the master where I can possess more birds, or I got to do the propagation permit and get these Harris Hawks on a propagation permit. But, because I just refuse to let Drago go because I'm a big puss that way. But
I was just going to say, just cut that red tail loose and that frees you up.
Ken Sabier yells at me all the time. He's like, just cut him loose. And I was like, I wanted to, my big idea was when me and him went out to Kansas last year, I was going to take this bird out there and let him go out in the country but then you go out through Kansas and you look at all the dead red tails on the side of the road. I'm like, no, I can't do that.
Oh my God. Aaron, what would I say right now to what Greg is saying?
I'm not sure, to be honest.
I would say, Greg, it sounds like you got to go and get your levels checked. Sounds like it.
Oh yeah.
You gotta get a little TRT. You gotta get a little TRT in you.
Greg,
he's my buddy. He's been there since day one, and I just like I said, he's had his chance to fly away, and like Ken Sabier said to me, he goes, the last time he flew away, he goes, see, he'll be fine. He can live on his own. You need to let him go. And I said, yeah, but I said, he came home. So now I think if I go release him and I go far away, he won't know how to get home, and I'll feel guilty and I'll feel bad.
Oh my God, Greg. Come on, man.
Greg,
dude, this guy's like
hack him out at your house.
Yeah, hack him out. That's a great, Aaron, that's a great idea. Over the spring, Greg, this is a great idea, man. We're giving you some sauce here, some good info. Over the summer, just hack him out. Just feed him every day and just let him go out, come back and get fed. Go out, come back. And then when he doesn't come back anymore, he's on his own. He's his own man. He's safe.
Made his choice.
Meanwhile, all my neighbors' chickens will be dead. And
Yeah, true. Good point.
no, like I said, I want to, I'd like to let him go, but I'm just like, I do like seeing stories like Chris Jansen over there in Jersey. Jersey
she's
girl.
great. Yeah, she's great.
Yeah. Her and Pip, I like seeing that, how she was one of the first people to tell me a story about getting Pip and how she got into it. And, it's crazy, it's when I think of how old her bird is and how many seasons she's had with that bird. I mean, God, when that bird dies, it's going to be almost like her child dying. I mean, I can't imagine what that woman's going to go through when that bird dies.
I just saw a post. Casey, hold your anger back for a second. This British falconer posted that her dad's red tail just died and the red tail outlived her dad.
Yeah, I think I saw that one.
Yeah. I think it was like 36 years old or something like that.
Her dad was 36 years old?
No, the red tail was. No, we're not talking about you in 4 years, Casey.
Dude, I was talking to my doctor the other day. I said, I think I'm going through like a midlife crisis or something. And he goes, no. The average life expectancy. I said, dude, the way my life is going, this is definitely my midlife crisis. I'm only 34. I said, I ain't going past. Yeah, it's like, it's not good right now, dude. I got no hair. I'm freaking fat. It's like, it's not good.
Yeah, I'd like to be like one of those people that has a bird for a long, And so her story did interest me, and how I think that bird's 30, isn't it, or something?
I've known Chris. I was 12, 13 when I met her. I've known her my whole life, basically. She's an awesome woman, and she's got the criders, and she's killing it all the time. And that's the thing about her, is that these people get these cool red tails and they don't do shit with them.
Yeah.
Jeremiah Weber, shout out to Jeremiah Weber. He's not a sponsor of the show, but he makes a good lure machine out in PA. He has little current event for you. This season, he trapped, from my knowledge, Aaron, and this could be, you could correct me if I'm wrong, but this is the first time I've ever seen. I'm trying to how to describe this. So have you ever seen those videos of those golden lanner falcons or saker falcons out in Saudi Arabia? Aaron, you've seen those? So he has a golden or whatever you would call this morph of red tail. And he's the first person I've ever seen that had one. It's a golden red tail. It's a red tail that's not brown, not white, but it's golden. And he is 100% planning to hawk it. And Jeremiah Weber gets after it. And he makes a really good lure machine local in the United States, not terribly expensive. And he ships relatively quickly. It's usually made to order. And my bird caught this season. So entering Goshawks, right, takes a little bit of time to get them to catch something. This current bird, using the lure machine to get the bird going, 100% using the lure machine. I got the bird going a month earlier than any other bird that I've ever flown using the lure machine.
Wow.
So you can either spend $1,500 to Bull X machine, which Bull X makes a nice machine. I'm not going to lie. They make a beautiful machine. The owner's probably going to come on the show at some point. But Jeremiah Weber, Boondocks Outdoors, makes a beautiful lure machine that'll help get your bird started. But he's not a sponsor of the show. I've used this machine for a couple of years and I love the thing. And he has a golden red tail. You looking at that, Aaron?
I'm trying to find it. It's nothing but selfies of him like turned to the camera.
Yeah, he loves the selfies. Shout out Jeremiah Weber.
His giant beard, looking like a damn Santa Claus.
Dude, that guy's got some good testosterone with that beard. You can't have a beard like that and have low T.
Casey's obsessed with low T, by the way.
Dude, ever since I hit like 30 something, I started feeling groggy. I went to the doctor. He checked my levels and he's like, dude, your levels are all out of whack. So now I'm basically a doping athlete.
Getting them shots. And if it was one shot here and there, but they're talking about it's a shot every week, isn't it? Or some crazy shit.
you just take it yourself, man.
Man, I ain't doing all that.
You'll do it.
Man, it's
Aaron.
I told Casey I got a nice head of hair. I don't want to lose it.
yeah.
It doesn't really do much for me, man.
Aaron, shut up.
Yeah,
How is that not? How is that not? I'm currently, for the audience, I'm currently showing a picture to everybody on my screen here of a golden, the first that I've ever seen. Well, it's not the first that I've ever seen. Connor Bucalo in California, who refuses to come on the show, mind you. He has got somebody out there took some photos of a golden red tail out there.
Let's see how it
look at
out.
that. Look at that.
Okay, that picture's. Oh, there's your lovely family.
My lovely, beautiful family. We're not looking at that right now. We're looking at this.
That's a better picture, but we'll see how it molts out.
I've literally never seen anything like it. It's a golden red tail. I've never seen anything like it, and I'm so tempted to be like, bro, I'll literally whatever you want. I'll
get on my knees. I'll do whatever you want, bro.
I'll literally clear out my savings account to buy that bird from you if you would like. But I know he wouldn't. But he's gonna fly it and he's gonna catch game with it. And if he doesn't, then he should be banished to the shadow realm. But he will.
Shame on him.
Yeah, I got to get either, like I said, these 2 Harris Hawks on a propagation permit. I got 1 more year to go to get this, to get to the the master where I can have another bird, because I do want to get like a small bird to hunt with in the summer, like a kestrel. To go drive around doing.
You can do that. You can drive around and car hawk all you want if it's non-native. The problem is when you're doing it for native species, they get after you.
Do it for starlings.
Yeah, starlings.
Yeah, and I got plenty of them around here on farms. So, like I said, I got the farms. I don't have to go in town. To kill the starlings. I just drive out to these farms with these cows, and they're everywhere. But I would like to get something like even a sharp shin or something like that. But I don't even know my hawks really. I try to find them, or what a Merlin. I'll see a hawk go down the side of a woods, and I'm like, what the hell's that? I don't even know what that is. I'm terrible with it. I can identify any North American duck a mile away flying or sitting on a body of water or something. But them little hawks, I don't know what the fuck they are. I'm like, it's.
Greg, drive up. You have an open invitation to come to the beach this year, this coming October. If you want to, we can trap you whatever you want. We'll get you a Merlin, kestrel, whatever.
Oh shit.
Yeah, we'll
Where's
put you
that
on.
at?
I don't usually advertise locations on this podcast.
Eastern New Jersey.
Yeah, it's like northeast of the United States, somewhere near a large body of water. We'll take you and we'll catch you, whatever you want. Just get a out-of-state permit. We'll take you.
Yeah.
So you gotta
the Atlantic.
They say down there by my dad's, that's like a funnel, like where they say you want to trap birds. That's where you should be trapping, is down there in that Cape Charles area where that land funnels down to the Bay Bridge.
Greg, we got funnels for days where I'm talking about. We got funnels. I'm talking about thousands of birds coming through.
Jesus. Yeah.
I'm talking about sitting on the ground, watching them hit the net and throwing them out of the net while others are hitting the net. That kind of a funnel.
Yeah, I want to get something, like I said, a smaller bird, to fly on some starlings and stuff. I think me and the kid would enjoy that a hell of a lot, So
I think a kestrel, as much as I'm not a huge fan of kestrels personally, I think a kestrel for you and your son to drive around and catch starlings with, I think that'd be a lot of fun for him to listen to music, have a good time. He can hold the bird, pass it to you. Out the window it goes. I think that'd be.
And I've never hunted, like I said, a sharp shin. I haven't watched a whole lot of stuff about them. If they're any good using them, you have to get one that's a baby and parent, imprinted to calm it down. There's a lot of shit I don't know about that stuff.
Yeah, that's a bucket list species for me, right, Aaron? Sharpie. Nice imprint Sharpie.
Yeah, I would love to fly some Sharpies.
Yeah, like I said, I got to get the Goshawk first, though. I got it. But like I said, I did, I did tell Seth that, doing this thing with the two Harris sauces, so that everything went as planned. I can't be happier. I mean, the birds are hunting together, and me and the kid can hunt together and have them out at the same time. So now, like I said, next year I'm going to focus on, getting the Goshawk when I go to these, meets with the guys like Jersey, like you want me to come up there. I'm going to, I'm going to bring.
Yeah, come on up.
Yeah, I'm going to bring the missile. I mean, it's.
Yeah.
I'll probably be bore assing you to death about what to do with the thing when it's hanging off my head or something,
If you get a chamber bird, it ain't gonna be no hanging, no craziness. It's gonna be like
no swanging, no hanging.
Well, I think I better save my tax money first, and then just go ahead and send that to Seth right away, and just tell him to put it in an envelope. And
there you go.
Just tell Seth you're a good friend of the show and a kindred spirit. He might give you a discount.
My advice to a nice, calm Goshawk is slow and steady, Greg.
Local law. He's got to support law. Maybe give 10% police discount.
Maybe. Yeah.
I tried to get a public schools discount, and he told me to go fuck myself. He said, my kids are homeschooled, bitch.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Propaganda. He's not trying to encourage the propaganda in the public school system.
Then I think he had some
Just
bluer
kidding, everybody. Just kidding. Go ahead, Greg. Sorry.
I think he had some bluer looking ones. I don't know what he called. I can't remember what he called them, but I sent him a picture of one, and he was like, "Oh, that's a such and such. That's more money." I'm like, "Oh my god."
Yeah, Greg. If you want a powder blue, you're spending $7,000.
Yeah.
The powder blues are they ain't cheap.
No, I don't need that. Man.
And I believe Seth is. There may be one other person, but I believe Seth is the only person that's producing powder blues. He produced one 2 years ago, and that tiercel may produce. I mean, it's probably going to take 3 years to get that thing to start donating. The powder blue is like a next level. I mean, that's talking about silver red tails.
You're flying now. Is that Siberian?
I have a 3/4 Siberian. The thing is like a puppy. It just. Not in its behavior, just in its mannerisms in the field. It's just playing games still. It's just everything's a joke. It's a big joke. It just soars. We're flushing a rabbit. Bird goes up, soars up over the trees, goes up high, 100 feet, floats around, comes back down, lands. Chases a rabbit, and then instead of like a regular bird would chase a rabbit and then bank up and land in a tree. It'll chase a rabbit. Rabbit goes to cover. It'll bump off, not bump out of fear, but it just checks off because it's in cover, and will fly like 150 yards before taking a perch, and then turns around and waits for the reflush. It's very strange. It's a very interesting bird. We scored today. Both birds scored today, the North American and the albitus, but it's just an interesting bird. I'm working through it. It's just it's a different. I flew a pure albitus, but it was already made. This is a 3/4 albitus, and I'm kind of seeing some things that are a little interesting about it. It still acts like a baby. 14 kills in, it still acts like a baby. It's very weird.
What was the white bird you had that died? What's her name?
The Karen bird. That bird, she flew every day after work or in the middle of work. She was a 50-50 cross. She was from Keith Hicks, who makes good imprints. It was a 3/4. It was a 50-50, so an albitus finish cross, and it was, I believe, the finish was a beautyoid. So the beautyoid was bigger than any red tail you'll ever think of flying. And she flew at 1,300 grams every day. Yeah, she was a big bird, but it's just overkill, Greg. Don't get all excited. You don't. 1,000 grams, 950 grams. You don't need any more than that. That's for rabbits. You don't need any more than that. Trust me. It's just a pain in the neck.
Well, Karen killed some ducks in her day, though, didn't she?
Yeah. She loved ducks. She loved ducks. And that's where she would shine, was with her power. Because to catch a duck, you can catch a duck with a tiercel. I caught ducks with tiercels. Females. It's not hard if you set the slip up right. It's not hard to catch a duck. It's just in the tight situations where like if they're in water or they're up on the bank and the duck is fighting them, the bigger albitus, they kind of shine with flying down the bird and then obtaining the dominant position during the struggle.
Did you ever try to get a snow goose with her? I mean, you're up there in Jersey. I know the snow geese come straight up there.
They come through here. I'm not 100% familiar on like exactly where they are. I was actually talking about the Maryland meet where you're from. We were driving to a spot and there was about 1,500 at least snow geese in the field. And I slammed my brakes on and pulled over. And then I was driving with Teddy, and Teddy said, "No, we should follow the caravan and keep going." Because I was going to pull that Karen bird out and try to catch one of those suckers, but it was private property and it was, whatever. So
yeah, I put Harrison on a nice group of them last year. I called him up when I found them, and I had the permission, and I don't think his bird knew what they were. It was overweight a little bit. There was a few things going against us that day, and I think when they flushed, the bird was like, wow, kind of deal.
Yeah.
She was a little bit overweight because, Harrison, his bird, Lizzo, is a killer. I mean, she will kill him.
She's a killer, as they say.
She's a killer.
She's a killer.
No, there's really, we always joke about Harrison, but there's literally not, it doesn't get any better than that. What Harrison did with that bird, it doesn't get any better. It doesn't get any better. It's just it'll catch all day long. And not only will it catch all day long, it'll trade off all day long to a tidbit, jump back up on the glove, rouse, and just immediately start head bobbing for the next slip. He did a phenomenal job with the bird. Can't take anything away from that bird. Phenomenal. Yeah. Greg, is there anything else that you want to add before we wrap this up?
No, sir.
All right. Good, man. Greg, thank you for coming on, man. We appreciate your time.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Yeah, I'll have to come up to the Jersey meeting and check it out.